All righty, everyone. It's time to talk some Sunday Shark Bites, but it's on a Monday. We'll explain in just a jiffy. Welcome to Sunday Shark Bites, but on a Monday here on Teal Town, USA. And we say good evening to you. It is Monday night, May 12th, 2025, and it is Monday Shark Bites. We'll have a number of topics to talk about, including Cuda is finished, craziness, is number two available, and is Department of Player Safety actually on a vacation? We'll get to all that and more. But of course, if you want to be part of the show, chat with us and fellow hockey fans all over the world on the YouTube page or the app. You can follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, you name it, you love it. And you can find everything at tealtownusa.com. And if you want to support the show, by all means, hit us up at Venmo at tealtownusa. Pleased to be joined by Ian Reed.
Hello.
And Jules.
Howdy.
Howdy. Oh, boy. How are you two tonight? Been a little crazy, but good.
Good. Yeah, everything's good.
Okay.
Everything's fine. We're living.
Everything is awesome.
Yes. So
Thanks, Ian.
quick shout out to all the moms. That's why we delayed this a little bit, because we didn't want to piss off all our moms and all the loved ones that are in between for us. So happy belated Mother's Day to all of you. But let's get right into it. Quick synopsis of the San Jose Barracuda. You know, the Cuda were eliminated in 4 games by the West top seed Colorado Eagles. Yes, injuries played a key factor to this team's success in the series, but there were definitely struggles too, Ian.
Yeah. I mean, I think injuries are a big story. It's interesting, right? Because I think like there's probably a lot to be said for this Barracuda team, and I think that there was some things that we didn't really go into because, and I just didn't feel like it was the time, right? Because I think there's like a deeper dive that we probably need to take on this Barracuda team at some point. But I just felt like in the moment, like in the post game of that game, right? Like I think it was. I wanted to focus more on the positives, right? Like I think it was a good series for the Barracuda. They did have trouble scoring 5-on-5, and they had trouble with offense at all. But there was a lot of good, right? So I didn't want to be like a complete downer and be like, John McCarthy this and blah 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 blah. Like I felt like, given what they did and how they performed, I just thought it was, I wanted to focus on that. I think that show, but I think there does need to be a little bit more of a deep dive onto this season, and I think we'll do that at some point. But I don't know, man. Like, yeah, they couldn't score. Their number one power play obviously was without significant pieces of what made it the number one power play, and eventually, and they lost to a really good team in Colorado.
Yeah, and it was. You knew they were in a tough test going up against Colorado, but you felt some momentum after that 2-game sweep from Ontario. Jules, I mean, nice to get a win. Nice to get the first win in overtime, for that matter, too, against Colorado. But your overall thoughts, briefly. I mean, yes, we should do a deep dive eventually, but your overall thoughts on the season for the Cuda.
I mean, I said this. I think it was a solid season, right? I mean, they went from finishing like 32nd to finishing middle of the pack. Like that's a pretty significant jump. Of course, adding a guy like Askarov will help. Like has helped them. Adding a guy like Potsy had helped. Adding Jimmy Schultz, like they actually invested in the Cuda, as in prior years, where it was just like, like Ian said, we're going to ice an ECHL team and see what happens and get demolished like for most of the season. So in that sense, it was nice to see. Yeah, of course, there's stuff that needs to be improved with that team, but like they swept Ontario, which was the 3rd seed, and then they were just kind of up against a juggernaut with the Eagles, right? So, and they missed. I don't want to keep blaming injuries, but missing your MVP does have the. You don't know how that series goes, and I think a few bounces go their way, and it's a game 5, right? So rough, but also like there are positives to be taken away, I think.
Yeah, I'm right with you guys. I think there were bits and pieces where you saw some promise, you saw some potential, but I mean, Ian, we went back and forth. I think over the season, there were some struggles there too that they need to remedy.
Yeah, I think there's, like I said, and I think like there's definitely a deep dive that needs to be taken here, because again, like this is a team that in the second half, or really after, I want to say, yeah, probably after, like I think after like November, December-ish, things kind of went downhill from there. I mean, they still end up being a playoff team, and I think what they did in the playoffs is noteworthy. But I mean, this is a team that struggled putting together consistent hockey from basically December to the end of the season. Um, and and at the end of it, like I think at the end of the season, you can definitely chalk that up to injuries a little bit, because I do think like it's not making excuses. I mean, that's what happened, right? I mean, the
Right.
Sharks got devastated by injuries at the end of the season, and then guys that they called up that you were hoping were going to go back down for the playoff run got injured on the Sharks. I think guys that definitely would have helped, right?
Mukamadolin,
Mukamadulin, yeah, and
Bordeleau,
like
yeah,
Bordeleau. So I mean, like there's that situation, but I think yeah, like again, like I think that they did struggle. They weren't consistent. They were very they one game they would look like absolute world beaters, and then the next game they'd look like the worst team in hockey.
right.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, speaking of injuries and everything, everything comes out on the locker cleanout day.
Mhm.
Some very interesting comments coming out on that day, and some included, AHL MVP Andrew Poturalski. Kind of interesting to see him make his comments here, but he did go on to first say to, and this is via Curtis Pashelka, I can't say enough good things about my time here with the Cuda staff. They gave me an opportunity to succeed, and I had a lot of good teammates to play with and help me out and do well, and we had a pretty good group. It was also a lot of fun coming to the rink, but in the same breath, I'm still chasing the NHL and a little frustrated on that standpoint to not get a full chance with the Sharks. I guess I kind of get it, but I don't agree with it. I am getting older, but I don't feel my play has slowed down. I still think I have something to prove, and I've never fully gotten a chance in the NHL, and I think that just eats me a little bit. And you know, Curtis would go on to ask if he would like to request a trade. And he's like, I'll talk about with my family and everybody here in the next few days. But right now, it's all happened pretty quick. We were working from getting the injury to get back, but we'll see. I haven't really made any decisions or not prepared to say anything on that really. So
Yeah, so this is a situation here where I think two things can be true, right? I think that when he signed here the season prior, and we've talked about this a lot, when the season before he signed here, when it was time to call guys up, it was always the players of his ilk. It was the Ryan Carpenters. It was the um, Justin Bailey's, right? Like these tweener guys that they were the ones that got the call up. Anytime they needed a call up, it was rarely ever the kids that got a call up, and it was mostly players of his ilk, right? So I'm sure when he's kind of trying to make a decision of where he's going to sign, he looks at San Jose and goes, "Well, yeah, those guys got called up last year, so I guess there's a pretty good chance I'll get called up this year." So he signs here, and then obviously things changed this year, right? There was a lot of the kids that were getting the call ups the way it should be, to be completely honest. Like, I think that, like, yeah, he can I can understand where he's coming from. He's chasing the NHL dream. But
right,
at the same token, like, the Sharks didn't do anything wrong here. I think you want to see guys like Gushin and Graf and those players get a call up, because they're going to factor into the future. Like, as good as Poturalski is, and like and he was good, and he brought a lot to the Barracuda, and I'm super stoked to have him on that team. But the reality is like he's never gonna be the guy that's gonna factor into the future of this team, right? And so I get it. I get his frustration. I get he's trying to chase the dream, but like
right,
that's not where the Sharks are this year. The Sharks need to start making sure that the pieces that are going to be here in the long term are the guys that are getting called up. And it's unfortunate for him, because like I think the Sharks have always had a tendency to have these guys come into the lineup, especially guys like remember like when Brian Lerg was the captain and then he got a called up, like different situation, right? A veteran team, a team looking to be competitive. But the Sharks have a history of calling those kind of guys up and giving them chances to do stuff in the NHL. But I think that with where the Sharks are now, being a team that's trying to build for the future, it doesn't make sense to, you know what I mean, for those guys to take spots away from guys like Gushin or Graf or, you know, Lund, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like the list goes on and on and on.
Gotcha. You were scuba miking there for a moment. I don't know if something popped out for some reason. Just a heads up, bud. Jules, yeah, it was weird. Sorry, but Jules, what did you think of Potsy's comments?
It's tough, right? Because for the first year, I feel like we're not hearing, "Oh, it's a horrible culture." You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel like that per se. It's not those type of comments, and that's honestly kind of a relief. Because like but I get Poturalski, right? Like he wants a chance at the NHL. Who doesn't, right? And like two things can be true. I think he was brought in more to help the Cuda and get the Cuda to the playoffs and not so much to land an NHL position, as mean as that sounds. But I fully understand if he's like, hey, I want to go to a team where I do have a shot of making it out of camp or whatnot. Like, I fully understand this guy's living. I'm not going to be sit here and be like, how dare you leave us? You know what I mean? If there's rumors out there that he's going to the KHL, good for him. Go make a shit ton of money and, probably light up the K, right?
Yeah.
But like, he has, I think, if he wants to stay and try and crack the Sharks, that's also great because he's been great for this team. He's great for this organization. But I fully understand him wanting an actual shot. You know what I mean? Because like I think he's done everything he could in the AHL, right? He's won how many Calders and not Calder Cups and MVPs and scoring titles and all that stuff. So
yeah,
I get it, and it's nice to hear that he actually enjoyed his time in San Jose and doesn't just want to run out the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like I think like the other thing too is like with Agazino, or not with Agazino, sorry, with Poturalski. I think the thing with Poturalski too is like you have to, like, I can understand it from his perspective, right? Like there are rumors that he might go sign a deal in the KHL next year. And I think when you're in a situation like that, that he's in, right, being a veteran guy, because like the AHL is a development league. The rules are set so that people can, so that the more kids get to play. You can only play so many veteran players. So when you're in a situation like he is, you got to think of it from a couple of different ways, right? First, like your average, the average career of that guy, even if he plays all the way through, let's say he retires at 40. Well, you're only going to make so much money playing in the AHL, and then after you retire at like 40, when most guys like usually call it quits, well, guess what? You have another 15 years before you can start collecting your pension, right? So I understand it in a situation like if he does go to the KHL, I can't be mad at him because again, like Jules said earlier, like he's going to make more money playing in the KHL than he probably will be playing, especially in the Bay Area in the AHL.
Yeah.
So I think like, he's got to think of number one, right? And the longer you're in the AHL, I mean, again, those spots, like right now he's the MVP and he's scoring at a decent clip, but again, if you can't keep that up, especially as you get into your later years as an AHL journeyman, those spots get harder and harder to keep a hold of.
Yeah.
Oh, totally. And it's tough because you see like, like RM Lowry's asking what NHL team do you think Potsy could make? The Sharks are in a rebuild and bringing up the young kids, but would he make a championship team? You could see maybe Columbus, Detroit, teams of that mid-level. Yeah, I could see that, but I think he's just looking for the opportunity. I mean, last couple of years, he was with Seattle and got a cup of coffee, but he did a lot of his damage with Coachella Valley and got them into the Calder Cup final, and he's just looking for that spot.
Here's the catch-22 for him, right? Because normally, like, there are some teams whose AHL team is competitive no matter what's going on in the big club.
Yeah.
In my opinion, this is for him. Like, I wonder if it's got to be more of a team that's like expected to do something, right? So it's not. So if you're in a situation where you're looking to do like a call up, you want a guy who's kind of been there, done that to slot into like more of a veteran lineup. Like, I wonder if he would be better served on a contender's farm system. The problem is this is some teams, they don't like, some teams, like I said, they're very good at maintaining the AHL squad, and they make sure that there's quality there, but some contending teams don't give a rat's ass about their AHL squad. So you could end up hoping for, that call up. And again, it's hard to get that slot, like kind of everything kind of has to fall perfectly for that to happen. But I don't like, I feel like that's the thing, right? Like, I got where you want to bring up a guy who you're going to trust, who's still not making any money, and whose prospect pool maybe isn't, is empty because they've been mortgaging the future for forever and ever. So I don't know. I think that might be the ideal situation for him, but it's hard to say.
You said that, I immediately thought Boston Bruins.
Mhm.
Because like a team like Hershey is always in contention. They're always in play. They're always one of the big dogs in the A, right?
Providence is their
Providence.
Sorry,
Yeah.
not my bad. But Washington's another team. Sorry, but Providence also, I could see them easily. The Bruins, I could see them easily getting a guy like Potsy because their prospect pool is garbage. To be polite, sorry, Bruins fans. Could easily see them bringing someone in like Potsy, who, again, sorry, molasses Jesus, it's been a bit. But probably but even the Capitals, like, speaking of Hershey, like, I could easily see them bringing in a guy like Potsy, right? So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. For Poturalski, I mean, did a hell of a job with the 1 year. Mind you, he's got a 2-year, two-way contract with the Sharks. So whatever happens,
would have to be traded.
But so here's the thing, right? Yeah, so you'd have to trade him, like, if he wanted to be traded. But the thing, I don't think it's likely that the Sharks aren't going to let him go to another AHL team. I can understand them letting him out of his contract to go play for the to go play in the KHL. I can't. But would you, if you're the Sharks, are you going to just give him to another team for nothing? Basically,
no,
I doubt it.
Yeah, no. It'll be an interesting situation to monitor over the summer, right? Because there is a reality where he just ends up back on the Sharks, right? Like, he is signed for next year. So
so I think if he's going to stick around, like if he's going to stick around in North America, he's on the Barracuda next year. The Sharks aren't just going to give him away.
Yeah.
Especially, like, what are you going to get because especially a guy like in that situation, like, what are you going to get? A seventh, future considerations? Like, what are we doing at that point, right?
Right.
I'm sure Detroit will attach a second.
AHL team, yes, Detroit will attach. You know what I mean? But like you're harming your AHL team at that point. So I don't know. I mean, stranger things have happened. I mean, if he's super unhappy, and I'm sure if he went and said, "Look, I want the hell out of here." I mean, we've seen other guys go. I mean, Egazino apparently went and did that, and he was out the door pretty quickly. You don't want malcontents, especially as we start bringing more prospects into the Barracuda. So you don't really want a guy who's malcontent there. I don't think he would be like that, though. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes for Poturalski, among others. I mean, I think you're going to be doing a lot more signing for the Cuda in this offseason, maybe a little bit more than the Sharks, but that remains to be seen. Speaking of another person that's wondering what's next would be Thomas Bordeleau, another missing piece from the Cuda playoff run, and now we know why. He dealt with a concussion, causing him to miss the last couple of games he was with the Sharks, and then the entire Cuda playoff run. Mm-hmm. He did speak with Peshelka and the rest of the media when they cleaned out the lockers, and he's saying a candid Bordeleau on his tenure in the Sharks org, playing for 3 coaches in 3+ seasons, and how the message changed. Quote, after my first couple of games in the NHL, then during the summer and going to the Worlds in 2022, it seemed like they were ready for me to play an 82-game season in the NHL, have a good summer, and hit the ground running after a good camp. And then everything changed. It's hockey. It's a business. Doug Wilson had to leave, and I'm forever grateful he drafted me, and it's given me 3 good years here.
Wasn't the 2022 summer when Mike Gurra came in?
Exactly. I mean,
So, yeah, just throwing that out there.
it's one of those things where you kind of get caught in the realm of all right, I was a second round pick. I just need to fine tune my game and everything. I think he was like on the rookie tour that's off season, doing promotions for the NHL and the Sharks, and then just I don't know if it was David Quinn, who knows if it was Mike Greer, but I mean, Jules, I'll start with you. It could have been a guy that gets caught in the well, you're not one of my guys, but also you haven't showed us anything to keep us up for 82 games.
Yeah, people know Bordeleau's tough for me, right? Like I liked him as a prospect. I think he's gonna be a fine player. I just personally don't see where he fits with the Sharks in the future. 2022 was a very different year for the Sharks. That they were in a very different position than they are now, right? I think we can all agree to that. I just think he got kind of lost in the regime, if that makes sense. He wasn't.
I think the thing with Thomas Bordeleau, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think
you're
the
good.
thing with Thomas Bordeleau is that people like there was a point where Thomas Bordeleau was our prospect pool.
Right.
Yep, you're not wrong.
Right? Like there was a point where like our prospect pool was Thomas Bordeleau.
And Declan.
Yeah, well no, because he was before Eklund.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. So
there was a point where he was our entire prospect pool. Right? So like I think a lot of people are like, "Oh, what happened to that guy?" Well, what happened was they made a bunch of picks since then.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. It's a bummer because, here you are wanting and trying to do everything, but if you're not giving that extra effort, and let's be honest, you weren't one of Greer's guys, you got a long hill to climb. Just ask Daniel Gushchin, and who knows what his thing is going to be in the off season.
So Thomas Bordeleau is a guy that it's upsetting, right? Because I think he really came on at the end of the season. I think as the season progressed, he got better. But man, he had a slow start this year. Like numbers wise, not a particularly great year for Thomas Bordeleau. 38 points in 59 games. That's not a lot considering he had 25 points in 35 games last year in the AHL. And obviously he spent a significant amount of time, almost 30 games in the NHL. Like really at this point and I like Thomas Bordeleau, but at the same point, like you're getting to a point now where he's 23 turning 24. He's turned in statistically one of his least productive seasons in the AHL when you want more, right? And I think he would have definitely helped the Barracuda had he been healthy for the playoffs. But I mean, that's been the other thing with Thomas Bordeleau too, is he has like stretches where he gets going and then he's injured constantly, right? And that's kind of like he kind of did the most Thomas Bordeleau thing. He finally gets the call up after waiting all year for the call up, and what happens? Injured.
Yeah,
immediately.
It's a bummer. You wish him the best. You hope if he's not coming back to San Jose, Thomas Bordeleau, you are a Nashville Predator.
Oh, 100%.
Because his dad is a
1000%.
development coach for the Predators. I could totally see him. Maybe he starts in Milwaukee, but I think he's going to Nashville.
Yeah, I think if Mike Greer doesn't bring him back, I think that there will be like someone else is gonna kind of poke around there. I don't think this is it if he doesn't. If Mike Greer decides that he needs to free up that roster spot for a player coming in, I know he was here on a 1-year deal last year. I'd kind of like to see him get another year, but if Mike Greer doesn't, I think someone will kind of swoop in and give him another go.
Yeah, Crafty Koala.
With that comment that just was pulled up.
No, I get you. This one, Bozosaurus. Yes.
It definitely feels like that.
to rid of all of Wilson's draftees except Eki. Well, yeah. But I will say, Crafty Koala, I will never forget. He is a legend. Shootout goal to ruin VGK's playoffs. Yeah, that was
great.
That was fun.
That was gross.
And somebody bought that jersey for $1,500.
Jesus.
It's amazing. I do like Thomas Bordeleau. I just think that like when you look at the age, and I think you want more from a guy at that age trying to make the jump. And and maybe not getting the call up, kind of messed up his season a little bit where he's kind of down. But I mean, like, I don't know, man. Like that's the goal, right? Is making the NHL. I know it's human to be disappointed by those things, but what I don't know, man. Like to me, that's not like I don't like when people are like, oh well, the Sharks screwed him over and that's why he didn't do anything. It's like, well, that's your job. Like you have to if the Sharks aren't going to call you up, you need to do something to force their hand, which I thought he did in the later parts of the season, but it took too long to get there.
Yeah.
Onward to guys who might be coming into the Barracuda in the midst of locker cleanout day, literally in between, I think, when the availability for Poturalski and Bordeleau was happening. The Sharks announced the signing of 2022 second-round pick Matias Havlid to his ELC. The Swedish defenseman, 5'10", 176 pounds. Jules, good for the Cuda, at least?
People for he can play for the Cuda right next year because that SHL rule I never understand and it's dumb.
So give me a second here. So I want to see
he's
if he's
21
he's
and he's a second round pick.
Yeah, so I don't know if he still has a contract. I don't know if it's an issue. The CHL, the SHL thing is he's signed to 27-28. Well, that's probably with the Sharks. I
just don't know if he can play.
Yeah, I don't.
Originally, I heard it was 23.
20. But, yeah, I believe they're supposed to stay. Like you can obviously you can make arrangements for him to come. But I think it was a situation where because of the year he was drafted, like they had to get him on an ELC.
Yeah.
Or give up his rights. I don't know if he can come play for the Barracuda next year, though. Let me take a peek here.
I'm not sure about that, but I will say people forget about this kid. He was part of that weird draft. He was part of the Filipista draft where Greer traded. It was Greer's first draft. I don't think he actually drafted, though, that draft, if I'm being fully honest.
That was, I was going to say, sorry to jump you, Jules, but that was the kind of the crossover where DW Jr. had the notes and Mike Greer was making the selections. So
yeah, puck moving, offensive minded, smaller defenseman. Didn't really like one assist with Linkcho being in the SHL with Hockey Svensson. He then got loaned to
Gardens.
Yeah, he had 2 goals, 12 points. 2 goals, 12 apples, 14 points in 18 games. Again, he's a puck moving defenseman. They drafted him at the time where the defensive cupboard was very, very bare. You never know. I like him. He's kind of lowered on my rankings of Sharks prospects, but he's a guy that I think kind of gets forgotten about. So,
yeah, nothing like it's hard because like obviously Europe hockey's weird. I don't like the numbers don't really jump off the page at you. Obviously, I'm not. I'm not 100% sure he can even come yet because I think like I think it's only the first round picks that can come like really quick, and then everyone else is kind of like way later. I think it's 23, 24 or something, unless if they let him out of his like contract to go. I don't know, man. This is a prospect I'm not super excited about. I think this draft as a whole, not this draft class specifically, I think this entire draft is kind of meh. So like I if you kind of go back and look at that draft, I think it's filled with an awful lot of meh.
Yeah. Yeah, TK, he's best buds with Beastet. Yes.
Yeah, so is Victor Eklund.
Yes, which will be interesting to see how that happens. Molasses saying that was the DW Junior Joe Will draft, not the G.
I don't really,
I mean, what Mike Greer was hired like a few days beforehand.
Like 3 days before the draft.
He didn't come and be like, all right, here's
we should take this guy. But I will say, like Cam Lund was in that draft, like Philip Beasted. So they'll probably get a few NHL players out of that draft. Just don't expect.
I just don't think that draft overall is a very.
Yeah, just don't expect like world beaters per se. Philip Beasted becomes the next Tage Thompson, and I get proven wrong. But like I don't know.
Wouldn't you like to be wrong though? I mean, that'd be great.
If
To be
Philip
quite
Bisa can
honest.
become a very good second line center for us, I will be shouting to the moons.
Gotcha. All right. Speaking of world beaters, thank you for the segue. Sharks currently playing hockey. The 2025 double IHF World Champions definitely getting more noticed, mainly since top name players are going who usually don't go, mainly because they're usually in the playoffs, but are sensing this as like a tryout for the 2026 Winter Olympic squad. I mean, looking at what the Sharks have been doing, and of course, no William Eklund, but you have Macklin Celebrini with the goal and assist in a couple of games playing with Sidney Crosby. Oh, Pierre McGuire must be excited. Will Smith has been on a roll. That's actually no goals, 3 assists, but he's a +5 in 3 games because we'll talk about Team USA in a second. And Alexander Winberg, who just looks like a model in a hockey jersey, a goal and a +3 in 2 games.
Gel? How does his? Okay, sorry. Keep going. Like I just don't understand how that. Anyways, keep going.
Anywho, but thought on I'll start with you. The thought on the Sharks' impact and how this is getting treated a little more. I don't want to say more seriously, but definitely trying to use it as
Seriously,
leverage.
by who?
Well, I mean, by the play,
by not Team USA. It's not serious.
well, yeah, I mean, Team USA got shut out 3-0 to
It's not even
Switzerland.
that. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, I remember.
Man, I hate to know who the coach is for. Oh crap!
Oh
Okay.
no! But you know the problem is, like, here's the thing, right? Like, Team Canada guys go right, and they can kind of build that chemistry. Look, do you think Nathan McKinnon and Sidney Crosby have any, like? Do you think if they don't go to this tournament, they can't be on the Olympic team?
No, they'll definitely. Yeah, this has no
Like,
effect on
they're
their
there,
Olympic.
right? No, exactly. That's what I mean. But they go anyway, right? They go anyway, and they play with other people, and they kind of build, like, Team USA after the Four Nations tournament. Dylan Larkin came out, and he was really critical of his fellow American players on how, like, they don't treat the world's, like, they never go, right? And then they wonder why they don't have any cohesion when they play in an international tournament, like a big one. And I get it. Like, do fans give a shit about this tournament? No. Like, I don't give a shit about this tournament. I'm not gonna pretend I do.
Well, the worst part is that you can't find it down here in the States. I mean, I know you
Oh,
guys have it up in TSN, but good luck. You're literally on the pirate ship if you're wanting to find it streamed somewhere.
yeah, and that sucks too, right? It's obviously, but I don't know, man. Like, I just think, I don't know. I think Dylan Larkin's right. I think that you want, because, like, if you look at that American team, it's just a bunch of young guys, right? Like, who's the big star? Who's the big guy that went there that doesn't have to worry about their Olympic spot?
Maybe
I'll
Zach
wait.
Werenski.
Zach Werenski, that's it. That's got to be it, right?
I don't remember their roster if I'm being honest.
I'm looking at it on here right now.
Tell me who's there that has no concern about their.
Probably only who's
It's
their
probably Zach Werenski.
Zach
That's
Werenski,
probably
I
it.
think. Yeah.
Clayton Keller.
Is he a lock for?
I don't think he's a lock
for the Olympic team. Like,
right,
Zach Werenski's on that. He's on the Olympic team.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at like Matty Beniers, Shane Pinto, Drew O'Connor,
Tage Thompson, maybe.
That's probably a for sure one too.
Like he didn't even make the fucking Four Nations one, so I don't even know. But like,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I think I don't know, man. Dylan Larkin's
also
right.
they didn't have Werenski this game. They had their blue line without, like, it's not world beating. So I don't know. It's interesting. But yes, it is just a ton of young kids, right?
That's what I'm saying.
You have your top 6 is Logan Cooley, Cutter Gauthier, Matty Beniers, Will Smith, and then the adults on that line are Keller and Thompson. Like,
I don't know, man. Like, I just think it's I wish that the American players would take it more seriously. Like, I understand it's a nothing tournament, no one gives a shit about it, but at the same time, like, it's a good time to kind of build that familiarity with other guys, right? And play in, like, again, it's a dumb tournament, no one gives a shit, but if you I just think you'd want more guys to be there who don't have to worry about making the Olympic team.
No, and the tough part is that you also have a lot of guys who are in the playoffs, i.e., missing Toronto Maple Leaf captain / San Ramon, California's
Sure,
Austin Matter.
sure. But like, okay, and sure, and let's let's be honest, like Jack Hughes is injured and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. You still like, you know what I mean? Even when everyone's healthy, no one goes to this fucking tournament.
Yeah.
I will say, you look at the Canadian roster, right? You have guys like McKinnon, Crosby, O'Reilly down the middle. Those are O'Reilly might make it. I don't know if he does, but at least McKinnon and Crosby are locks. And then on D, you have Uyghur, Matheson. Sure, why not? Like, you see, what they just, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I'm always glancing at games, Kathy.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wish that
Yes. If you are watching the playoffs while watching us, it is now 5-2 Carolina. Mr. Sveshnikov with the empty netter there. So it looks like the Capitals are going to go down 3-1 in this series.
My bracket is saved. Thank you, Canes. Don't blow that.
So
I will say, though, it's awesome to see Celebrini getting trained by Crosby in the face-off dot.
Oh, yes. Finally, 9 years later, somebody learns from Crosby how to cheat in face-offs.
Like, it's really cool. Like, he's just, you can tell how giddy he is and how excited he is to play with.
King of cheating in face-offs. What are you talking about?
I'm sorry. Let me apologize. Like Logan Couture was forced to, like, a couple of games later after he says that.
No,
God.
but like, it's awesome that Celebrini has that opportunity, right? Like, you can see how excited he is and how giddy he is, and who knows, it'll start rumors Crosby to the Sharks. So let's get that rolling. Let's start that rumor up right now, shall we, boys?
No.
Ian, let me have some fun.
No, I'm not even.
No, it's nice to see Crosby's shit. Celebrini just, having fun. Thank you, Molasses. He seems to be having fun there with Crosby and Konechny. So yeah.
Gotcha.
And both their headshots, their hair was just on like a rampage.
Yeah,
really
it's
funny to
it's
me.
like Celebrini landed and took his picture
Yeah.
just as he arrived, and then Wenberg's like, "Excuse me, one moment."
It's like the progression of hairstyling, like, sorry.
We love you, Mac. Don't leave us. All right. Onward to the Stanley Cup playoffs, where it just seems playoff hockey, along with own goals, keep coming in here, there, and everywhere. It's just we'll get into all that. We'll talk about the series that's on the air right now, and that's Carolina Washington with Brent Burns about to go up 3-1 on the Washington Capitals. I mean, your classic, I mean, come on, we always romanticize about the past. Your classic Southeast Division rivalry series. And up until earlier tonight, I think they've kept Ovi in check for the most part. Ian, your thoughts?
Yeah, I picked Carolina in this series. I think Washington's had a hell of a run this year, doing what they've done, getting up, being like second place team, like to the Winnipeg Jets for the President's Trophy and everything they've done. They made a bunch of smart moves in the offseason, but this Carolina team is it's deeper, it's better. And Freddie Anderson has been outstanding this series after missing the end of the last series with whatever was ailing him, which is always something. But he's been just outstanding this playoff run pretty much in this series, and I think that's been pretty much the difference. And again, Carolina, they're deep. And when they're rolling, they're rolling. I think they're gonna have a real hard test next round. Should they continue on this pace, I think that's going to be interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know, man. They're a good team.
Yeah. Jules?
Carolina's interesting to me just because I feel like they're also built for the future and for the present, if that makes sense. Because like you look at their core's pretty still like not young, but they're young, right? You have guys like Jarvis, Blake, who's been a revelation for them, and then they have Nisk. I can't pronounce that defensive. Yeah, like they have to sign the kid, but like they're a fascinating team. I think they're going to be a problem for a very long time, and if if their goaltending can hold up and
not break.
and not break, like I could see them beating Toronto or the Panthers. Like it's not out of this world. Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like once if they get past the second round, which seems to be their curse a little, they might surprise a few people.
Yeah, and I was going to also add to the kids Logan Stankoven that they got as part of the Ranton deal.
Now they have like first round picks for ages.
Exactly. So yeah,
they're Dallas, but still.
I was gonna say they're
Dallas, but still, you can still use it to add if that's what they want to do. Which I'm.
And as we talk about it, the game has now gone final. Carolina wins 5-2. They're up 3-1 in that series. Let's move onward to the game that's coming up, which is Vegas and Edmonton. Oilers lead that series 2-1. Road teams won every single game.
Okay. Go ahead, and then I'll say a story.
Riley Smith buzzer beater gets VGK back in the series. Jules, I'll ask: was it more Draisaitl giving shivers of Steve Smith from 1986, or if you're a goaltender, Ted the goal?
I don't know why Skinner's fault. That wasn't Stuart Skinner's fault, like at all. Skinner gets a lot of hate, but to a certain degree, also he slid. I don't know what happened, but that's not the point of
he hasn't won a game yet this year. So I mean, the hate is deserved. He hasn't won a game yet this year in the playoffs.
Yes. But I'll get back to the actual hockey. It's like I was watching this game with a ton of friends, and I swear to God, I thought it didn't go in for a solid like 5 minutes. I thought it rang off the post and then out. I just want to say Leon Draisaitl, I think someone tweeted this out, is the first player to score for all 32 NHL teams. So congrats, buddy. I mean, look, like that's just rough, right, for Edmonton. Like that's just so rough. Like they were up 2-0, and now it feels like the momentum swings back to VGK, right? Look, like I want this series to go 7, mainly because they're killing each other. I also find it really funny how much VGK fans complain about one missed call against them. Now, to be fair, that was absolutely should have been a penalty against Edmonton because Arvidsson almost killed a man.
Yeah.
But I just find it funny. Anyways, Stuart Skinner, they need Calvin Pickard. I think Calvin Pickard is their
thing to say.
I think Calvin Pickard is 6-0 in the playoffs, and Stewie Skinner is out here, like maybe Calvin Pickard was the answer all along for Edmonton. We'll see here. But no, like this is such a great series. I love it. Two Pacific rivals going at it. Who doesn't love it?
Right.
Ian? This series is funny because, like, it's funny you talk about Calvin Pickard being 6-0. I mean, that's the number that matters, right? 6-0. But like his numbers are not good. Like they are not good. And yet the Oilers seem to be winning regardless. The Oilers are such an interesting, flawed team. Like they're just like they're such a beautiful disaster. Like I don't know how a better way to describe them. They're a beautiful disaster is what they are. It's I don't know, man. Like you look at the like the goaltending. I feel bad. Like Stuart Skinner comes back in. I don't think I don't think that goal that went in is his fault. He's trying to take away. He's trying to be big and and that puck gets through him. And then if Draisaitl's stick isn't there, that's not going in the net. It's gonna go past him, right? So you can't I don't understand how people can be super mad at Stuart Skinner about that goal, other than the fact that he hasn't won a game yet. And if Edmonton's gonna do anything, he needs a W, doesn't he?
He needs a W tonight.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like I feel bad for him. He's in a tough spot, but at the same time, Vegas, it's interesting Vegas this year because like they're another team that's kind of just paradoxical at this point. Because there's teams where like there's some nights where they look great too, and I think they were the better team in the last game, but I don't know. Like they've been to me a real Jekyll and Hyde team this playoffs.
Their blue line is by far better than Edmonton. And Hill, can we talk about? I think it's fair to say he hasn't had the best playoffs.
Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think Hayden Hill's been good at all.
So he's been San Jose Sharks, Hayden Hill.
And it feels like when they went on that cup run, they had ridiculous goaltending. Their defense, they didn't even have Hannafin on that effing cup run. So like,
Yep.
it feels like if Aiden Hill can figure it out, this will end quickly. But like Vegas, just you can never really count them out. Because
No.
you look at them on paper and they are just ridiculous on paper, right? Like
Mhm.
Nicholas Roy just took the dumbest penalty ever. I will say that cross check to the face of who was it? Frederick. Such a dumb penalty by Roy. But they're a deep team, man. Like you just unfortunately you can never count Vegas out.
Yeah.
So
Their blue line's insane.
So there's two things. One thing they haven't learned any better, and one thing they have. One thing, doing cross checks and giving up a 5-minute major in the playoffs. But the good thing for Vegas fans is that they actually learned how to kill it. So,
That's true.
you know, that's all I'm going to leave it up there to. Should be an interesting one tonight in Edmonton. Going to the series that will be happening later on, Game 5 Tuesday
Which series?
Game 4 Tuesday, if I'm correct. Tuesday between Winnipeg and Dallas. Mikko Rantanen. I mean, Mikko freaking Rantanen.
So-
I think he's got 10 points in 3 games. He had, I think, a hat trick in like 2 of the last 3 periods.
hat tricks. It was ridiculous. I'll talk about Mikko Rantanen in a second, but I would like to say if the Winnipeg Jets can learn how to win on the road, they'd be perfectly fine.
Oh God, please.
They don't know how to win on the road for some godforsaken reason. But back to Mikko Rantanen. Did you see the quote that he put out?
No.
That he wanted. I read some. I saw somewhere that he literally wanted to go back to Dallas to get revenge on the Avs, basically, and he literally single-handedly eliminated the Avs by doing a hat trick in Game 7 against them. Like that man is like big game, big moments. That's his opportunity to shine, right? Like you look at his playoff stats, it's up there with some of the top-notch guys, right?
Oh yeah.
Like we were giving him shit because he struggled a little bit to adjust to a new system with Dallas, but oh boy has he figured it out, and oh boy is he a problem.
I like this for him because obviously like I think a lot of when you play with great players, I think sometimes like people will treat you like, oh well, is he just like, oh he's just a product of Nathan McKinnon, and like clearly that's not the case.
No, that's
I mean, if you could hand out the Conn Smythe in the second round, I mean I think you would run away with it. He might still. I mean, if Dallas makes a deep run, if they're in the final, like he could, if he can continue this play, I mean, he's going to run away with the Conn Smythe, in my opinion. I think he's been the best player in the playoffs. I think it's been, he's been super impactful. And I think that, I mean, Dallas, they're so good. And now that they, I don't know, I want to see how they play in the next round because I don't think much of the Jets at this point. I just, again, like, Connor Hellebuck can't run on the word, like just the weird things happening in this playoffs, especially like with Connor Hellebuck I think he's been better this series for sure. Like it's not the disaster that was last series for him. But even still, like this is a guy who might win the Hart this year.
I'm stunned about it because it's quite a bummer. And honestly, let's be honest. You talk about goaltending, and we talk about the World Championships. Is this the tryout to be who's the number one going to Italy for Team USA in the Olympics?
it has to be. This crazy to say, but I feel like it's Ottinger.
It should be like at this
It
point.
should be right. Like
at this point, it should be Jake Ottinger's net to lose, and that sounds completely insane to say, but
because like Hellebuck got nominated,
and I don't think
Hart, right?
that. And again, like I will go to the grave saying that Four Nations wasn't Hellebuck's fault.
They left Connor McDavid open.
Yeah, like I don't think that was his fault. Like, I think he was great in the Four Nations tournament, but I don't. So it's hard. It's insane to say like that should be Ottinger's net, but I look at like what Ottinger's done so far, and I think Ottinger's been really, really good this playoff so far, and Connor Hellebuck hasn't been, man. Like, and I love Connor Hellebuck, I really do, but this playoff whatever happens to him, I don't know how you get around that.
Also, I'd like a friendly reminder to all. Dallas is doing this without Miro Heiskanen.
Which is crazy.
Right?
And they didn't have Jason Robertson until what, like game 2 or 3 of this series, if I'm not mistaken. And he was on, I think, on their daily face-off lineup. He's on the third line. Like, like
Stacked.
that's ridiculous, right? And then they're doing this without their top defense. Like Cody Ceci is playing like top, I think, pair minutes for this team.
Craziness.
Talk about a reclamation project for Cody Ceci in Dallas.
Well, Cody Ceci might be going to back-to-back Cup finals.
Yeah.
So, look, like they're doing this without fucking Miro Heiskanen, and props to Thomas Harley, who like
Thomas Harley, what a coming out party for him.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. Like, I don't know, man. Like Dallas is when they get back Miro. Good luck.
Right.
So just to stop things for a second here. The London Knights won their third game of their best of 7 series against the Oshawa Generals for the OHL championship. Sam Dickinson had an assist and Casper Holtman with a hat trick in this one.
An insane goal.
Wow.
Goal. Easton Cowan, for those of you who didn't see it, it's reposted on Teal Town, but Easton Cowan did like literally, I think, an ice skating move professional ice skaters do with a little spin, and then pass it to Holtman, and then Holtman's stick imploded on him as he shot it. I one thing I'll say about Holtman, he turns it on for the playoffs. If you look at his goals if you look at his goals per game in the playoffs, it's ridiculous. Like that man just decides, I'm going to be an absolute menace to society in the playoffs.
I think Jonathan Becker just put out a tweet. I think he retweeted that Casper Holtonen with 12 goals in 7 games in the OHL Championship Series. I mean, wearing green, dominating a series. All right. That's it, folks. Casper Holtonen is going to be the next Mikko Rantanen TTG5.
Oh my God.
No, but like that's like,
I mean, that's amazing.
Like,
yeah, the team is stacked.
Well, yes, that team is stacked, but let me just say a stat about Casper Holtman, and then you can be correct, Ian Reed. Let me have a moment to gulp about. So last year in the playoffs, right? He had 18 games played, he had 17 goals. Mm-hmm. This year in the playoffs, in 15 games played, he has 10 goals. Like he's not at like the goal, basically a goal a game in the playoffs, but he's goddamn fucking close to it, eh? Anyways.
He's getting there. Yeah, he's. I mean, he's had a really good run. I think Sam Dickinson had a really good run. That London team is super good. I think the Memorial Cup this year is going to be maybe one of the best in a while, because I think that whoever makes it out of the Western Hockey League also is going to be very, very good. So it's going to be an interesting. I don't know. I'm really looking for the Memorial Cup. I think it's going to be solid. Now, obviously, London isn't through yet. They've got to win. They've got to continue taking care of business. And this Oshawa team is also very good. So I don't want to take anything away from the Jennies, but yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one there for sure. And then what is it? The WHL? It's
Medicine, right?
The Tigers and yeah.
And who was it? Oh my God, the Tigers versus.
I'm blanking so badly, unfortunately.
Spokane, I think.
Yeah, Spokane, right? Yeah, okay.
So Spokane and Medicine Hat. Yep.
So it's Caden Lindstrom and Andrew Basha came back and immediately scored on their first shift, which is awesome. Caden Lindstrom came back from a back injury, was out all year. Andrew Basha, Flames prospect, was out.
And also. Gavin McKenna's been just.
Gavin McKenna's just. You want to talk about teams tanking next year? Like,
I don't want to talk about fucking Gavin McKenna next year in October.
No, I'm not saying the Sharks should, but but you want to talk about a team like Bruins, Penguins, who have no clue what direction they're going. Like, just throwing that out.
I don't know, man. No. But if the Sharks are dog shit in January, like Gavin McKenna,
I'll wait till February.
Gotcha. I will say this. I'm grateful that the WHL and I think the rest of the CHL is showing or streaming the games on Victory Plus. So if you are interested in taking a look at that, you can. It is free. # no free ads on that one. So Yeah, so check that out if you can. I know it's up in TSN up in Ian's neck of the woods. All right, some rants and such before we start wrapping things up.
Did we talk about Toronto, Florida?
Oh, did we? Oh,
we
damn
totally
it.
skipped Toronto, Florida. I mean, they get
Not like they get enough pub as it is, but yes,
We
let's
can
talk
skip
about
it.
let's talk about Toronto and elbows. I mean Panthers.
Sam Bennett, buddy.
Can you stop?
Future
We don't want
Shark.
to overpay you too much.
just this constantly.
Leafs look a little different since
Go
a
Bucks.
Brad Marchand overtime goal have the ghosts of a few years past creeping in.
Well, they lost Anthony Stolarz, which I think should be something like before we start talking about, oh my God, the ghosts of Passer. Like, they need their starting goalie back, don't they?
Okay, so yes, I agree with that. But I believe they had 5 shots in the first period, and Wool had to face like about a bajillion. That's
Well,
Shark-esque.
but I mean,
That's
they
not
had
just
4
one.
power plays.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
weren't good. Like, don't get me. I don't think Toronto was good the last game. Whatever game it was, like they weren't good. At all. But like I don't know. I'm not sold that this is over yet. Like I don't think like I know it's easy to, especially with this team, for the narrative be, oh no, here comes the ghosts of the playoff past, right? And like and look at, I mean, and this team has earned that reputation, obviously, right? It would be, I mean, would I be surprised if they win one more game than they've ever won, and they decide that's good and that's it? No, it wouldn't surprise me, because like that's been kind of the playoff history of this team. I think they're going to come back and play a better game, though. I think if they can get Stolarz back, which I don't know how soon that would be, because I think that's a concussion, and obviously you don't want to mess with that. You don't want to rush him back before he's absolutely ready. I don't know. Like, I think this series has been better than I thought it was going to be, though. So there's that.
Yeah, I Toronto was an overtime goal away from going up 3-0.
That's it, and that's the thing, right? Like,
And
that's so easy to forget. Like how they almost had a stranglehold, and now I think they're tied.
Yeah, they're tied.
Yeah, they're tied 2-2. Game 5 on Wednesday. They get a little bit extra day to rest. Apparently, there might be illness going through the team, which, what a horrible way for that to happen. A lot of people giving crap about Austin Matthews not being offensive production.
Playing injured. Not that it's an excuse, but I heard he might. I don't know if he's playing injured. That's what. I don't know.
I think people
I might have just
like to make
misread
excuses for their
something.
favorite players whenever.
Well, yeah, and let's not forget Joe Thornton had a significant injury, and CBC just giving him all kinds of crap for it, and then they went, oh, so we'll
when
see.
his leg was fucking duct taped together.
Yeah, and what, Harry Neal was just going off on him the whole time. So
there's a fight in Edmonton.
Oh, there was a huge brawl after Matias Havlid tripped Aiden Hill, and then it ended up being Kolasar and Trent Frederick going at it, and somehow magically Vegas ends up with the power play. Huh.
Well, because the refs are trying to make up for that Arvidsson thing still.
So my question to you is this: I mean, we've had a lot of iffy calls, not the least of which on especially with Florida. I mean, but it's gone all over the place. I mean, the Max Domi
0-6 when Wes McCauley does games. Sorry,
right? No, but I mean, you see Max Domi taking a stupid shot and only gets a $5,000 fine. You see Mason
that wasn't a suspension. That the fine is right. In that situation, it's bad, but it wasn't like suspension in the playoffs bad.
You actually have to decapitate someone to get suspended.
Not even it has to be something. So you have to remember, if it's going to be just a game, it's never going to get suspended, because in the playoffs, I mean, the way it works, and I mean, it's not scientific, but I mean, like, you can look at it. Something that would get 2 games in the regular season is going to get you a playoff game. Was that a 2-game regular season suspension hit? No, of course it wasn't. It's not a suspension.
What and I'll ask you first, Ian, but what did you think of the whole Mason Marchment incident where he falls down and he's looking for a penalty, gives a love tap to the official, and
I mean,
I mean, you
can't
can't
do
touch
that.
an official,
Yeah,
but yet
you can't do that.
nothing happened, and it just reminds me, it's like, so how many days vacation does George Peros have that he's using right now? It's, I mean, there's a
Well,
lot of
so
lumber
here's
being
the
thrown out
thing. So
there.
here's now actually now let's if we're gonna do this, let's do it properly.
Okay.
Hitting a referee is not player safety. Hitting a referee would be a league suspect. Like it would come from the league directly. It would come from Colin Campbell. It would not come from player safety because the referees aren't players.
Ooh.
It would be a league. It would have to come from the league, and the league's not going to suspend anybody in the playoffs.
They'd get so
So
much hate for that.
Yeah, no, because it's against the referee. It is not a player safety issue. It doesn't go to the Department of Player Safety when it's a referee. That would have to come from the league directly.
yeah, that comes from Hall of Famer Colin Campbell.
But
Yeah.
that's the reality of it, right? Like that's where it would have to come from, and I don't think like wasn't good and it was a stupid thing to do, but like I think the ref was fine, no harm, no foul.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I expected at least a fine for that. If it was even more malicious, I thought I would have gotten something else. But
Oh yeah, I mean, if someone goes and decapitates a referee, like something's gonna happen. But I think within the situation where tensions are running high, and if the referee wasn't like, I'm not saying they should encourage this behavior, and I think if it's in the regular season, that probably gets something.
Mhm.
But again,
They're
it's
not going to do that
the
anyway.
league's not gonna do something that's gonna that could be looked at as trying to decide a playoff series. They're gonna, as long as the referee still has his leg intact, they're not gonna do anything. But that would be a league thing. It wouldn't be a player safety thing.
Fair enough. I just think there's a lot of lumber getting thrown out there, a lot of shenaniganery happening, and it just seems like
Yeah, it's the playoffs.
It's a playoffs, but I think you're towing the border here. Not the least of which Stolars has a concussion.
Yeah, I mean that probably should have been that. There should have been something there. That I agree. Like, do look at it again. Like, I'm not saying that the officiating has been great. It's just, but it's been consistent with every other playoff I've watched.
Yep. Completely agree. So now we'll go on to rants and such, because trust me, there's a lot to talk about here. The LA Kings and Rob Lake mutually part ways. Jules, before we went on the air, you're hearing what? That
I'm not hearing anything. Elliot Friedman's hearing the things. I'm just saying the things.
Sharks insider Jules.
trying to build you up here.
No, you don't know. We'll see where things from Elliot Friedman, not from me. I am not the one saying here. We will see where things go over the next few days, but all indications are that the LA Kings are closing in as Ken Holland as their new GM. I had the same reaction. I just laughed.
I don't understand. Like, I understand that Ken Holland has a long history in this league and he knows a lot of people in this league at this point, right? And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. But like, when's the last time Ken Holland's been a good GM? The Red Wings dynasty, like, you know what I mean?
Probably.
Like before the salary cap. Bravo.
I just don't.
Yikes.
I'm not sure. Like the Kings in general are just a weird team. Like, you know what I mean? Like they're just a bizarre team. And like,
I don't think like here's the problem with LA. They keep fucking playing the Oilers in the playoffs. That's the problem with LA. Like, the way they lost that series was not good, and obviously heads were gonna roll. But like, I don't know, man. Like, to me, I just wonder if they play anyone else, do they fare better? Maybe they don't. Maybe, like, I don't know. Do they fare better if they play Dallas? Maybe not.
no.
Against the Avalanche, probably not.
No. Like,
I don't know.
My thinking is, if there's one team that's hoping for them to go back to 1 versus 8, it's LA.
oh
Yeah,
they're probably begging the league.
LA, like, I don't know. Like, I just but I don't think like I think they've done a lot of things right.
Kuzmenko was a good ad.
Yeah, Kuzmenko was a good ad. I
Darcy
mean,
Kemper for PLD was, I think, a pretty good trade. And all
solid
things
move,
considered.
stabilized their goaltending. I think Quentin Byfield's been really, really good. But but if you look at all the pieces they have from that rebuild, maybe that's the only one that really stands out, and that's probably an issue at this point. Because
Clark very well played. So.
yeah, you're sure, right? Yes, Clark. Yes,
but they barely utilized him. Like if you look
yeah,
at
but no, I think Brent Clark's gonna be a piece of that team.
Oh, for
going
sure, yeah.
forward, like it's like, but it's like two pieces that to me, like without really doing a deep dive on the LA Kings and really looking into it, like those are only two pieces that really stand out from that entire era of them being crappy. And I commend them because I think that when you're seeing teams having trouble when they tear it down to the bolts, getting back up again, like if you look at a team like Detroit, for example, and I think there's a lot of parallels with the Kings and the Red Wings, except for the Red Wings completely always get fucked by the lottery. The lottery has not fucked a team more than it's fucked the Detroit Red Wings. But I don't like, but at the same time, like I give the Kings a lot of credit for the way they were, because I still think even at his advanced age, I think Anze Kopitar is still one of the best two-way centers in the league. Drew Doughty is, it depends on the day, but I think he still has a part to play. But they didn't completely tear it down to the bolts, and they still got some really good players. Like I said, they got Brent Clark, they got Quentin Byfield. I don't know, man. Like I think that when teams going forward, especially when you look at like some teams that have teared it down to the bolts and they just can't get the wheels back on the track after that, I wonder if a lot of teams look at LA to see what they did and say, maybe we don't have to trade absolutely everybody, and just, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, that's one way of putting it, but now it's like, okay, what do you have? So, moving down, and since we're talking about SoCal, the I-5, Joel Quenneville, you are the Ducks head coach. Yeah. I mean, obviously there is a tie with Pat Verbeek and Quenneville as they played together in Hartford for a bit here. The Ducks said that they did do their due diligence on this. I mean, this one's going to be the tough one to talk about, especially everything that's going on with the 2018 Hockey Canada case going on as well. Wasn't expecting Anaheim though.
I think Anaheim makes a lot of sense from
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about this from a hockey perspective first, and then we can get into all the awfulness. From a hockey perspective, I think this makes a lot of sense. This is a team that is looking to take a step. This is a team that wants like they've come out and said they want this team to be a playoff team. Yeah. And so this, I think if you want a guy who can come in and really kind of straighten things out and really like get put solid systems in and everything else, it's Joel Quenneville. Joel Quenneville is going to come in. He's going to implement, like, he's a good systems goalie. He's going to come in. He's going to implement system, and he's going to make guys buy in, because if you don't buy in, you're out.
Right.
Yeah. Right? From a hockey perspective, this makes a lot of sense. Like purely just hockey standpoint, this is a good fit for the Ducks. We were talking about, like, what destination as a coach do you want to go to? Ducks are way up there right now. In regards to like available coaching positions, right? So yeah, from a hockey standpoint, this makes sense, right? He's a good coach,
Yeah. And I mean, if this were anybody else, it'd be like, okay, this is a nice hire for them, getting a former Cup champion, a established head coach that can start turning things around. I mean, Anaheim did make the right moves going upward. I think that's what the Sharks are hoping to be, next season. But
yeah, so let's talk about the ickiness now.
Yeah.
So here's the problem I have with this Joe Quenneville thing. But I think at the same time, like if Stan Bowman is allowed back in the league, you have to let Joe Quenneville back in the league. Like, you know what I mean? So we've already crossed this bridge. The part that upsets me the most, right, is because like I know that they said like, oh, you know, he's talked to Kyle Beach and stuff like that, and I think that's good. And I think, and look at, I do think that people should get a shot at redemption. You know what, like that's the way. I think we're too easy to just like, this guy's done for life, you know, we should just, you know, throw him on a boat, throw him on an island, and that's it. The problem I have with this though is it's not so much the Kyle Beach situation. I think it's good that he's gone and talked to Kyle Beach about it and tried to do things better. The problem that I have, and this goes with Stan Bowman too, is that there was another victim, because the Chicago Blackhawks not only didn't say anything about the Kyle Beach situation when it was happening, but they also sent him off with a glowing recommendation. And that's the part where, so you have another younger victim on his next stop, where I think that's where I have, this is maximum icky for me, because not only did the Kyle Beach thing happen and no one did anything about it in Chicago, he gets a glowing recommendation, moves on, and victimizes another younger person. Why? Because that person, whether that's Stan Bowman, whether that's Joe Quenneville, whatever, they're responsible for that, in my opinion. And it's good that whatever, you know, like they're talking to Kyle Beach and trying to learn from the situation, but like no one's talking about this other younger victim enough that wouldn't, like, if they had nipped it right in the ass right there in Chicago and they had dealt with it like they should have properly, then he doesn't go and move on to a different situation where he's victimizing another person who happens to be younger. And I think that that's the part where I'm having trouble reconciling. Like, I do think that people do deserve a chance at redemption, but because of that, that is the problem where I have trouble reconciling that.
Yeah.
And that's the tough part of it. I think there is, like you said, a chance for redemption for it, but at the same time, that's just disgusting. And Ricky mentioning it too. They are currently in court with another unnamed black ace too, and
Yeah,
it's just,
and that's a problem, right? But again, those are NHL aged people. We're talking about not NHL aged person that was victimized because nobody dealt with it when they should have.
yeah. And that all happened prior to Game 1 of the 2010 conference final between the Hawks and the Sharks, and yeah, it's
gross. It's
just disgusting. So let's make a quick turnaround as Aiden Hill is apparently turning into Jordan Bennington as we speak in this hockey game. To the St. Louis Blues may have inadvertently leaked their updated logo.
It's 2-0 Edmonton, by the way.
Yes, 2-0 Edmonton, and Edmonton magically gets a power play for Evander Kane getting pushed into Aiden Hill and getting called for charging.
I think it's, so I'm not watching this game, but it sounds like they're just continually taking one, trying to, because obviously if you continue just taking one guy, eventually the heat's going to come down. Right, because guys are gonna behave, because they're not. If only one guy is going every time shenanigans happens, eventually there's the shenanigans are gonna stop, because you don't want to be the one guy that goes instead of two guys going.
At least that's what they're hoping for. I don't know.
This continues all night.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. Speaking of things that were going to be interesting to see, the Blues apparently are on the verge, and this is courtesy of Aesthetics here, on the verge of adjusting their logo. It looks like their heritage, their light blue logo, well, it's trimmed in navy now. Honestly, if you're going to go with the navy, I would love to see a better contrast with that lighter blue that the Blues use on their classic jerseys here. Okay.
I don't know, man. Like, why?
I mean, that sucks. One that you exposed your own logo change, and
but also,
I just think it's like, but like,
what?
This isn't good. Like the old like, I don't like
that's
it's a change, and it's not even a good change. I don't
I
understand.
feel like they just went on Canva and just increased the size of the lines.
Yeah. I mean,
Just like, we're gonna make the lines a little thicker just because we wanted to. Like,
right.
that's kind of what it feels like.
Whenever you're at work and you're thinking, man, this sucks, just remember someone got paid a lot of money to do that.
Yeah.
Like, I do that for my school projects. Like,
Just remember when your job sucks and you're thinking about how you don't get paid enough. Someone probably got paid a lot of money to do that to the logo. So
Go figure. And I know some of them, so I hope the jerseys, whatever they are, they're going to look fantastic. We'll probably see them on draft day for sure. So there's that. On that note, anything else to add? Oh, we should mention the third thing that we were going to talk about tonight. That's on the thumbnail. Is number 2 available?
No.
no.
Oh.
We
We keep hearing this little thing. Brody mentioned it with Greg Wyshynski today.
What did Wyshynski say to that? Is my question. First of all, listen, you don't trade unless. Ian, I got you. Don't worry. Unless they're offering the sun, the moon, and the earth, you're not trading that number 2 pick. Like, it has to be a redonkulous offer because
Well, you have to. It has to be something for, like, you're not just trading that pick just to get out of there.
And if you say Dobson for the second overall pick, I'm
They're
going
not going to
to
do it.
scream. Like, no one's doing that. Like, look, the Sharks.
Well, I don't think the Islanders are going to do that anymore. Like, if you're the Islanders, right? And this was a question earlier in the chat, right? They're like, who do you think? Yeah, I think they take Matthew Schaefer. And now you've got Matthew Schaefer and Noah Dobson as your top pair, and you laugh forever now. You laugh forever.
Like, and then the Sharks land in a position where they have, if they draft Michael Misa, they have the most ridiculous center depth in the effing world. So you just take Michael Misa and you figure out your defense later. Like, yes, that sounds leafy. I'm aware I sound leafy. But like, you can always trade a forward for a D later or sign someone or figure out that later. But you take the BPA and you take Michael Misa and you laugh that you have Celbrina and Misa down the middle for the next 15 years.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I look at, like, again, Mike Grier is obviously going to listen to anything that he is offered, right? And I do think, like, if you're moving this number 2 pick and you're not, like, I don't even think you should trade back, right? I know someone in the chat, but Victor Eklund, fuck off. Enough with this bullshit. I'm so tired of hearing about fucking Victor Eklund at this point. Like, I'm sorry. What's more important?
Victor
Building
Eklund.
a winner or building the fields? Because if you say building the fields, then you are watching the wrong fucking sport. Like, I don't know.
So
real
can
quick
I make
on
you both fight?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay.
We're not trading up. Oh, we can't. Never
Number
mind.
2
Oh God.
and Edmonton's 2026 first rounder
Holy shit! What are you getting, McKinnon?
to Boston for number 7. And let's start the rebuild in Beantown. We're going to get Pasternak to be on Celebrini's side. Let's do it.
How old's Pasta?
Beeler? Beeler?
I don't know.
How? So actually, okay. So 2 thoughts. You're still giving up Michael Misa.
28 years old.
28. That's not terrible.
You're still giving up Michael Misa, but by the time the Sharks are quote unquote good again, which in my opinion isn't for another 2 years, like next year, and then the following year they should be better. Like, that's the minimum, right? He would be what, 30? Yeah, I'm not doing that. I'd rather have Michael Misa and just laugh that I have Celbrina and Misa down the middle for the next decade, right? Like,
yeah, I think you take BPA. Like, you worry about, like, yeah, at some point this team's gonna have to figure out the blue line, but this
right now you just take BPA. Like,
you just, yeah, like, you're not gonna, like, what are you gonna do? We're gonna trade out of 2 so we can get into the top 10 and take, like, and
like,
move
who are you taking at 7
and taking Mertka or something.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
You can trade up for Mertka if you really are that desperate to get redeem Mertka. You can trade up to get him if you want, but again, like, there's guys down in the 30s or where that Dallas pick would be, where I wouldn't mind you taking a swing at a D-man there.
Yeah, like, you take, I think you take you draft at second. I think they're, like, yes, this draft isn't the super amazing draft. Like, next year's draft is going to be way better than this year's draft, but I don't think it's not I don't know how you look at a guy like Michael Misa and go, nah, I'm good. Like,
He's literally the perfect second line center for the Sharks. If you look at what they have in their cupboard right now.
Yeah.
Because that gives Will Smith the chance. And we'll cover all of this again in our draft show, which I don't know when that's going to be, but we will figure it out.
I'm just thinking, there's a Boston tie-in.
He's going to Boston University. He's a Shark.
Yeah.
I love getting them spicy.
All the Boston ties are here. Our center core is going to be all Boston and Swedes for the next 15 fucking years, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Bay Area Sports Talk, and I don't think I've seen you in here before, so good to see you. If you think that trade was bad, did anyone else see Shank talking about bringing back BK65?
AJ, you are being paged.
It's like Al when we ever brought up in Anti-Niemi. I mean, it's like we bring EK65, and then there you go.
We will be doing a draft show. I
Sometime.
don't know who, at some point. We'll go into it. We'll talk about. I have thoughts on this draft, but look, like the Sharks should take Michael Misa and just move on with life.
Yep,
That's all. Or Schaefer if the Islanders do dumb things, right?
I can't imagine the Islanders.
It's the Islanders. You never know.
But it's
but it's not Lou Lamoriello anymore, so who knows?
But it's Higgins. He was born the feels, Ian. The feels.
Yeah. Well, look I think so. So the Higgins thing's interesting, right? Because like I think it would be malpractice on their part to do it, but at the same time, like this is a team that drafted John Tavares, and John Tavares left. So if you have a guy up in the top of this draft, which James Hagen is still in the top of this draft in my opinion, and he's a guy who's been an Islanders fan all his life and probably would never want to leave. It's not I don't think it's a completely terrible thought. Now I think it would be absolute malpractice for them to do it, but I could understand the logic behind it, especially because they never got over John Tavares leaving after they won the lottery, got John Tavares, and they couldn't keep him past unrestricted free agency.
Listen, yeah, I mean, yes, but also people forget Higgins was projected to go first for a bit there at the start of this year, and then Schaefer just kind of took over. So like it wouldn't be like an obnoxious reach, but it would be malpractice.
I think it would be. I think when you look at the top of that draft class, I think it would be not great. But I would understand the logic of like this guy is going to be here forever because he's going to want to be here forever. I think there is an appeal to that.
I will say it'll make the other picks very interesting, right? Well, not interesting. It'd make them very obvious. It'd be Sharks take Schaefer, Chicago gets Misa, Utah gets Mortone.
I think Chicago's going to be fascinating to see what they do at 3.
So all the mock drafts out there, what drugs are you guys on?
Why? Who they have?
I've just seen like Jake O'Brien pump up to 3 at some mock drafts. The 2 guys I see Chicago taking, and like this is my opinion, and is either Anton Friendel or Porter Martone.
Oh, I think they take Desnoyers.
You think they take Desnoyers?
I think they take a center. I think they take either Friendel or Desnoyers.
Interesting. I could see that. I have Desnoyers a little lower than I probably should, but I'll fix that. Maybe we'll see. I think it's Friendel or Martone in my opinion. I just think you pair a guy like Martone with Bedard, like you're laughing, right? I think Frank Nazar is a pretty good center to have, but again, we'll see what they do. I think Utah will also be fascinating, right? Because like
president saying we don't know if Schaefer will be the same player since he was injured. I think he's going to be fine. Look at young people heal. Now, if I did that to my shoulder at this point in my life, I don't think I ever recover. Young people heal, and I think the other thing too is like, yeah, it's a little bit scary to have a guy who's missed that much time, but he should like. I can't imagine him not making a full recovery. And if you look at the minutes and the things he did before he was drafted, I think. Or before his draft year, like I still think that there's enough of a body of work there that I think whoever ends up taking him should be very comfortable they took him.
Yeah, like you look at any of it, like yes, he did not play the amount of games you probably want him to play because of the injuries, but look at him at the World Juniors. He was Canada after he wasn't there per se, you know? Like, yes, Canada had other problems at World Juniors. I am fully aware of that. They should have taken Michael Misa with them and a few other guys, but like, look at what happened when he left, right? And if he does fall to the Sharks, like Schaefer and Dickinson is a great 1-2 punch. Like, no one's whining about that.
Right.
And you can figure out the second line center thing later. Same thing if they take Misa, you can figure out your defense later. Like, the Sharks are in a win-win here. We're fine.
All right. With that, we will wrap things up on this one. In case you missed anything or you want to watch this again, we would love for you to do so. Check us out on tealtownusa.com or your favorite podcatcher. The audio version will be up in a little bit. Of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like button before you head out. It really does help us out, and it's free, so we appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button for all your Sharks news and everything. Hit that notification bell, because when news breaks, we will super glue it back together and break it down for you live. So on that, final thoughts before, Wheel of Fortune is about to start, gang. So, moving along here. Ian, your final thoughts, my friend.
I have no final. Everything's good. Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I don't know.
Awesome.
I think we covered everything pretty good. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking forward to, like I said, I'm looking forward to the Memorial Cup coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to watching some more playoff hockey, and yeah, we're gonna do, like, we've definitely got some stuff that we're going to do. We don't have like set dates for anything yet, but I think there is stuff that we want to do, and it's just an issue of locking down a date to get it going. We're definitely going to do some draft stuff. I'm going to try and get Kevin tracked down so we can do kind of like a deep dive kind of autopsy on the Barracuda season as a whole. Yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see what else we can cook up in the meantime. So stay tuned.
Gotcha. Thanks, Ian. Appreciate you, bud. Jules?
Michael Misa is a Shark. Let's not overthink this. First of all, secondly, no. Like, look, it's playoff hockey, right? It's the best time of the year, and Jules's bracket. Oh, my computer just froze. Please
That's
hold.
great.
Jules's bracket is at 63% correct. So, thanks, Avs. Appreciate you guys. You're so kind to
My
me.
bracket's toast.
On that note, appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for watching. We'll be back with you in the very near future for some more Shark Bites. Until then, thank you for watching, and keep it real, keep it teal, keep it real teal. Have a great night, everyone. We will see you in the very near future.